is about boycotting bands who are homophobic and sexist and racist and right-wing, and this is the perfect place.
So essentially, we realised there was a massive issue with harassment being swept under the rug by this certain festival. And when it was brought to their attention, their reaction was just to piss on us and sweep it under the rug and not really care.
Talking about what Riot Garden is about, and I didn't realise that it's actually about it's an anti-movement for the biggest festival that this UK has provided us. I hate that festival. I was there once and I will never go to Rebellion again. If you're a punk in this room that provides money to that festival, fuck you.
Boycott all the fucking shitty, old or young, mainly old, fucking right-wing, fucking shitty, fake punk bands. Cause you ain't punk. If you're fucking right-wing, you ain't a fucking punk. You can jump on. And to tell you what, Rebellion might have had you for 20 years. We don't fucking want you anymore. So fuck off and go rot in your own bigotry.
I'm in the middle of a riot garden. How did that happen? Where did the name come from? How did you start doing this?
Riot Garden actually came from a post that Hannah made about Rebellion Festival. A lot of people coming forward about sexual harassment and sexual assault that had occurred at the gig, and the response that we got was just not the best, to say the least. And we were just fed up with it. We wanted to create a scene that was kind and inclusive, and where we wouldn't be sexually assaulted just for standing at the front of a gig. And we all sort of got in contact with each other, created this big group chat, and then we've just been bouncing ideas off each other from then. So yeah, that's kind of how we started.
And have you encountered that just at that festival or otherwise, in your experience?
So it's not just Rebellion that it happens. It is an issue within the punk scene as a whole, or any kind of festival. It happens. I think the thing was, to stop it happening, we need people to respond to it in the correct way, put things in place to try and prevent it. I gave some suggestions of like, oh well, maybe if we have like a space that people can go to if they experience anything like that, they can tell you who it was, you can identify them and remove them from the festival. And it was kind of shut down out of concern for the reputation. That's it.
The reputation of the punk festival. Yeah, it was pretty mad. But the name actually came. The name actually came from. We had a few names.
Yeah.
And we kind of didn't want it to be like. We didn't want people to think it was a band. Yeah. And then we kind of just said it was really like lame. We just asked people on Facebook, and people came up with these like amazing suggestions.
Yeah. Just threw different suggestions out there as well. Like, what about? I'm trying to remember what other ones we had.
Punks in Power.
We had Equal Riots.
Equal Riots.
Which I did actually love.
That was
one
good.
a lot.
My favourite.
I think that's a good festival name.
That was
Utah Ross.
Yeah.
Utah Ross.
Oh, Utah Ross. As in uterus. Utah Ross.
And then there was another one that was 40 Watt Club, which was like a Tank Girl reference. And then Gobby Craft, like ones like that. Yeah. And then, then Riot Garden, we all just ended up thinking that was pretty perfect.
Yeah, I voted for it, and it kind of came back like as a unanimous, everyone wanted to do it. And born.
Oh, that has so many meetings.
We have great t-shirts. Look at the t-shirt.
I love them. Somebody has been at the machine sewing all the letters on, but
Lovely, Hannah.
Me and my lovely mum. Me and my mum. Bottles of wine and a nice little sweatshop kind of night going on. T-shirts were born. Yeah.
I love it. They look great. Perfect. And you've spoken out a lot about it. I think you have an association with the pub as well. And so you've been really speaking out about sexual harassment in women. Can you tell me more about that?
I mean, because I work in the industry. I'm a supervisor of a pub in Nottingham. And, especially when spiking got crazy and that was everywhere, I was definitely a spokesperson for that as well. So I've not kept quiet about it. It was my Facebook post that started everything, and it's just me being an angry short person, I think, has gotten me so far, and I'm just always vocal about it. And now something good is happening from it, so that's great, yeah.
You got to talk on the radio, and you did which we were laughing about before when you were on telly. Because
Yeah.
you thought this would be a recorded thing, it's just the radio, and then they were like, right, you're on live BBC in 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
kind of like, yep, cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Proper like earpiece in, talking to a man that wasn't there, boombox, like crazy stuff. Yeah.
That must have been scary.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, because I've just been from being angry and loud online, you know, especially through the pandemic, just kind of being angry by myself, and then the next thing I know, I'm a voice for, you know, a good generation of people. Literally though, like a generation in the punk scene, and like women and other people that are vulnerable at events or anything else like that. I mean, because I let slip that I've been spiked before. And I will say the BBC definitely went, oh, she's good because she's been spiked. And they mentioned it every single time I had an interview with anyone across BBC or ITV or anything like that. It was crazy, yeah.
Well, it is something, because I've been spiked as well, and it's, you know, you afterwards you just feel so dirty.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, honestly, I remember that, the feeling, and we realised that, like, we kind of, like, rejoiced over the realisation that both of us had gone through that. Because both of us kept it a bit...
the same drug as well.
Yeah, because both of us
that
kept it, like,
happening.
seemingly quite quiet, and then we sat there one day going, I had this experience, and we're like, did you feel this way? Yeah, I felt that way.
And you feel like an idiot as well, but it's
Yeah.
like, it's not your, like, you know, you've got that training, it's like, it's not my fault, but like, I feel like such an idiot that I let it happen, but it's not that way at all.
No, exactly. And that's also what I think inclusive Riot Garden.
Exactly.
You know, it's another level of like inclusivity and wanting to be there for people, wanting to let people know that you're not in the wrong. All that.
Ever. Never in the wrong.
No.
If you are the
Unless
victim,
you're a dick.
Unless you're a dick. Yes. If you are a victim in these situations, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, what you are. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You know how much you've drank, what you look like. You know what your sexuality is, anything like that. Your gender identity. It's not your fault if someone's an arsehole to you. You know.
Absolutely, and that's what I really am so happy to see you guys doing, is saying, look, whatever it is, whoever you are, it's not your fault. And we're here in all of this, all of us together. And that includes the man in the group, Tom.
Hello. It's becoming a thing. I feel like I've spent more time on MPRV than off it these days.
Yes, you're usually dancing and picking up Molly and spinning her around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how did you get involved with Riot Garden?
Well, you know, I've always... Molly's taken a massive lead with this gig, especially, well, with it being local to us. You know, she's done most of the organising for it, and with having a little bit of experience doing gigs and putting bands on and stuff, I was like, kind of like giving advice on the technical side of things. You know,
I was really trying to be like, you know, I'd get all these emails from people, especially when we were logistically putting the Fuel gig together, and they were like, right, so we haven't got a backline, but we have got a PA system. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be the idiot woman that doesn't know anything about music. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Tom, what does all of this mean? Help! So Tom was introduced a bit later on, and I was like, he's our stage manager, and, you know, he's putting all that stuff together. Yeah.
Explaining like the kind of situation to my friends, like, right, we've got this sorted and that sorted, and they'd be like, so what do you mean by that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you know as much as I do.
It's sorted, that's what I know, and that's good enough.
That's all I need to know.
Exactly.
I think that's what we all feel about tonight. It's kind of like, well, we've got everything in place and organised and timed and sorted, and we've all got it here. And it should all fall into place. Theoretically. You know.
It will. It will.
So we don't really know what's going to happen, but hopefully it will all go well. Very, very DIY.
And that's the important thing. And what are your plans? Do you plan on taking this forward, doing more gigs, festivals, things like that?
We really want to branch out, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, we've already got another sort of in the pipeline. And we've been bouncing other ideas around for events that aren't actually a gig as well. So we really just want to do as much as we can and branch out.
You know, the front of our mind is definitely about like making people feel safe and inclusive, like whether that is in a gig or a protest or, you know, some kind of community event that we put together. It's not all about punk music, it's just about making people feel safe and happy within the music scene at the moment. But, you know, we're just, you know, while there is still injustice, we will be there. stupid discrimination that happens. I mean, it's like that we want to get this one under our belt, but we've got a lot of ideas, so we're going to see how this one goes, and then be like, right, okay, so we've got that idea, let's try this now.
No, exactly. Yeah. Hopefully, we're hoping for an event in Nottingham at my pub and venue, and even my boss, he caught wind of what I'm doing over here, and he went, "You do know we've got a venue?" So even he seemed a bit left out. So hopefully, like, we can get that rolling in Nottingham as well, and like, you know, that will definitely be another gig, whether it be an all-dayer or something, maybe something. We'll see how tonight goes, how it starts to go in the next 45 minutes, or how long. And see what goes, and hopefully that will just, pun intended, fuel us to do a little bit more.
Oh, very good. And what other types of things are you thinking about doing other than music?
I was on about a drag show, maybe. That is inclusive of not just like your stereotypical drag queens, but drag kings, bio queens, so females that do female drag. And trying to put on some kind of performance with that, which should be,
That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I love drag.
But you have to have Snatch Game playing it if you're doing that.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we will, definitely.
And what do you think the biggest challenge us women are facing these days at gigs in society?
So, here we go. So, obviously, we are white. Molly identifies as non-binary, so me and Hannah are the women of the group. But obviously, we are white, so we can only talk as the privileged position of being white women.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But, so just to reference that. But it still sucks.
Also, then we are short, young, and therefore classed as vulnerable women.
Yeah, so I think looking like this brings a lot of attention.
Oh yeah. I've been spat at, I've been abused since I was a child for being different, ever since like year 5, I think is the earliest I could think of in school. It's been crazy.
I experienced harassment at the age of 17 on a gig by a guy that was at least 60.
I do think that a lot of, it's not just men, but from my personal experience, it is a lot of men think that they have some kind of right over you, that you're there for them to touch. Obviously, I know this isn't all men. We've heard that phrase enough now, so I'm just going to get that out there. But it's enough for the fact that we have created a collective because we are sick to death of people thinking they have autonomy over us, whether that's being violent, us being harassed, us being assaulted, or just being patronised because we are women or non-binary, but it's just absolutely fucking sick of it now. Basically.
To be able to go to a space and not be harassed, not be assaulted, just for being there. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And also, when you start bringing in different sexualities, different gender identities, that brings in a whole new specter of harassment, discrimination, activity, and it's very worrying that it's so accepted. It's not just against women. Sometimes it's worse against the non-binary or non-conforming gender roles.
If they can't put you into a box, it scares some people because they don't understand it, and then that can fuel aggression and discrimination, and that makes it even more dangerous.
Lots of arguments come out at the moment. I think especially in the States since the George Floyd incident, for example, and obviously that's sparking up a lot of heated debate again. We all realise that it's actually trans black lives that I think are at the most at risk of any kind of anything. That's why I feel the privilege of being a white woman. And I still get old men who gawk, even though that's creepy, like you still have that where they still find you attractive, where they still like the look of you, but you think of being someone POC and in the LGBTQ community, I can't imagine what it's like to be in their shoes at all.
I do think these you know, Black Lives Matter being talked about so much is a really positive thing, but it also really does bring the dickheads out of the woodwork, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But I think it's really good that, like, I really hope that Riot Garden is hopefully a safe space for marginalised groups, as well as people that just feel ostracised regardless of
Whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly. We just want it to be nice. We just want it nice
I
time.
I could say that we're like here for the biggest list of people, but we're not. If anything, because we're here for everyone, and everyone literally includes any walk of identity. Anything goes, literally.
Regardless of gender identity, race, sexuality, there's a home for you at Riot Garden.
Just don't be a dickhead, basically.
Don't be a dickhead. Don't assault people, and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to tonight. You've got a really fun lineup going. I like how you've mixed it up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come out with next, what's coming up, and how we can get your voices, our voices, heard, and get that out there and start rebelling against places that just let these things go and say, yeah, this is fine, it's okay, boys will be boys.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks, Jel. I'm really excited as well. I'm like nervous, but I'm kind of like really excited. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, the nerves are going, but excitement, so much excitement.
We also have some lovely merch, which we didn't make for our first event. So we've got some nice like patches, which were designed by a lovely friend of ours, Fizzy.
And the patches are amazing. Hands down, like literally some of the best patches I've ever seen. And that's not tooting our own horn. They're amazing.
Definitely. No, we're really excited and just spread the word out, you know, about Riot Garden and stuff, and hopefully it goes well. So,
And if anybody wants to buy this merch and they're not coming to the gig, is there somewhere they can get to it?
Hopefully we won't have any left by the end of the night, but for the future, it's not ready yet, but I'm going to set up a Bandcamp page for Riot Garden. We'll just whack it all up on there. You know, it seems to be the easiest way to do merch, you know. Yeah.
I mean, that does depend on how well it goes tonight. If no one wants anything, then we might go, oh, maybe not. But I'm sure it will go fine. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you all very much. Have a great first gig. I can't wait to see it.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.